I've always felt different. I've always seen things, but when I tried to express them as a child, I was always told to ignore it.
There were people that I didn't know that came to me and said, I have this message that I keep getting that I have to deliver to you.
All of a sudden, out of the shadows, a homeless man just jumped right in front of me. And he said, I'm a soul just like you.
I love it. I wanted to understand the universe and who and what we are and what are we doing here.
Well, we're all part of this amazing soul wave tapping into each other.
This was a major life changer.
You are a light. You have helped me a ton. Thank you.
You've given me the courage to live more from my soul.
Millions of people are awakening. So wake up with Michele Meiche, the place to hear the best-selling authors and experts in the fields of cutting-edge self-help, personal growth, metaphysics, and spirituality. The soul path of awakening. Understand what living awake is.
Oh my God! Living awake, everyone. What is it? Well, it does require some patience, aligning to the soul, heart attunement. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's really great to connect with all of you. If you're new to this podcast, I'm Michele Meiche. This is Awakenings with Michele Meiche, if you didn't know. And our amazing soul lights that help to create this community, and those that are not just in the sacred space of empowerment room, but also help to found the chat room, also known as the sacred space of empowerment. I love that. Sacred space of empowerment. Think about that. Take that in. All right, if you're new to this podcast, again, welcome. You can listen by phone by calling in 347-539-5122 if you happen to be listening by computer. If you have a question, a comment, or you want a reading, press 1, 347-539-5122, and press 1 on the keypad if you want to talk. And if you want to listen in the chat, that's great. If you want to ask questions in the chat, you can do so as well. I really, really, really want to thank all of you that have left 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and beautiful appreciation comments. Thank you so much. That fuels me. That really inspires me and encourages me when I have my down days, my difficult days, like this morning, having to do a lot of stuff last minute. So it does mean a lot. So I also want to thank those of you that are recently subscribed to Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube. It really helps, really trying to connect, get a foundation to then connect with some other people and have a bigger community. So if you haven't done so yet, it will really touch my heart if you would subscribe to Awakenings with Michele Meiche on YouTube, and also Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube also. That would be so appreciated. And if you haven't yet, and especially if you've been listening for a long time, many of you have been listening for many, many years, and I know it's a pain in the arse. I know. But if you could go to Apple Podcast or there's other podcast platforms that you can rate and review and give a 5 stars. If you can review it, that's great too, but if not, just hit that 5 stars, and that will be so appreciated. What else? Also, Patreon. Connect with me. If you want advanced metaphysics, advanced spiritualism, I've seen a lot of stuff that I'm like, oh my God, I'm really wanting to reach more people. I kind of went into a lot of private practice with what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on, if you can hear that in the background, my neighbor outside. I did do a lot of retreats and groups in the mid to end of 1990s and 2000, and mid 2000, and taught a lot. And then I went more into private practice. And now I'm coming back out again with what I've learned, what I know now, and I want to share more. I want to get the information out more so that people can adjust and have the information to make the decisions and the predictions and the visions I received. Like in 2017, I had those visions about the pandemic and all that was going on that ended up happening, where it came from, what to do. And so I want to provide that all on a broader level. Like in 2019, I was telling my clients, you need to have an online component. You won't be able to work for a while or as much in person. There is something coming that you're not going to be able, and the guides were really, urging people to try to help them prepare. So I want to be able to do that on a broader level, whether it's, stock market, Berlin Wall coming down. I mean, I'm just looking at a lot of the predictions, and I'm starting to put them together. Thank you, Lori Bregman, for telling me I should do. By the way, because what happened was the other day, because I watched some of my pick a card. Well, some of them for me, because there's always good information. But when I upload, to make sure the timestamps are, accurate, and of course I'm multitasking as I do quite a bit. And I had just looked at the full moon, Pisces full moon, the blue moon, super moon, pick a card, which has two parts to it, and there's a full moon ritual. So if you haven't viewed that and tuned into that, I would suggest right now or after this podcast, go to Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube and watch that, and you can do the full moon ritual. There's a full moon meditation, a full moon ritual. And that's part A, and part B is on Patreon. But anybody can watch it. You just have to. There's a little fee, but you get a lot of other information and soul support and soul insights and guidance and meditation, and it's basically an esoteric studies and advanced metaphysics and spiritualism. So you get a lot of goodies, a lot of content. Anyway, so I did the timestamps, and I was doing something else. I don't know if I was uploading something. I think I was editing another video. And all of a sudden, I guess it went to the next video, right? I was watching it it was on my TV. And all of a sudden, I hear, oh my God, there's my alarm. Look at that. True Mercury retrograde right now. And all of a sudden, I hear my voice in the background, which I kind of ignored it. But then I heard, yes, I see there's a lot on the news. People are going to be watching the news internationally. There's going to be a lot going on with politics or certain politicians. And I'm seeing uncharacteristic climate and weather changes. I'm seeing a rainstorm. There's going to be a lot of rain. There's going to be some kind of storm or hurricane. And I'm listening. I went, oh, my God, that happened. So I left my friend an audio note. I'm doing what I normally do. I'm multitasking. I'm in the background because I just checked my timestamp. And here was the prediction. And I said it was in August. I said mid-August. And I think that video I must have recorded in July. And my friend's like, you got to post that. You got to post more of your predictions. And so if those of you that connect with me on Instagram, I don't know if I'll post it in the reels. Maybe I'll just post it in the stories. I don't know yet. But it really tickled me because all of a sudden I'm hearing, because when I'm channeling, I'm getting bits of information. So I'm like, it feels like climate change. There's uncharacteristic weather changes. There's some kind of storm or hurricane. There's a rainstorm, I'm seeing a heavy rainstorm. I'm here. So it's very interesting when you're channeling because it's like you're going through this maze energetically, etherically, right? You're kind of moving through this. It's a feeling. I'm, a conscious channel and trance channel, as well as psychic. They're two different things. So sometimes I feel things, I hear things, I feel things. I'm shown things, I'll smell things. So it comes through in different ways, and it's kind of like wading through a room, or have you ever been to like a big event, right, like a concert or a conference, and you see up ahead where you want to go, but all along the way you're looking, right, you're wading through people, and then you're looking at one booth or another booth, and it's catching your eye, and you're getting bits of information. And that's kind of how it is. Even when I'm channeling people that are on the other side, as a psychic medium, there can be a lot of energies, a lot of what I call spirit people, or I call them people, because to me they're people, they just don't have a body. And sometimes you have to kind of move through them to get to the one you want to talk to or have come through, because other beings may want to come through, other people, right? The spirit realm is crowded, folks. Y'all, it's crowded. If you've ever done any, interplane group work, like when I worked with Ashtar Command, they're group beings. This is the only dimension where we separate out. I shouldn't say that. There are other dimensions. This is the only dimension that we have this emotion, highs and lows, and play things out and experiment. And a lot of people think this is about being at a school. Not really. Learning lessons are part of why we're here. It's a byproduct. But it's really to test things out, feel things out, like the expansion of God or the all that is, through a vibrational, aggregation, if you will, conglomerating energy, aggregating energy, frequency, creates a design or a pattern. If you've ever done cymatics, that's how this happens. It's very mathematical. As a language, we can interpret it mathematically. But if you look at cymatics, blowing on the sand or doing certain vibrations through tones and sounds, the sand will create a design. That is us, folks. We are cymatic design. And that design has outpicturings of how we're going to look, what's important to us, in a way we're God or the all that is answering its own question, living out its own curiosity, its own wonderment. You could even say kind of hide and seek. Here I am, or where am I, or who am I? I'm right inside me, or I'm in that tree, I'm in that reflection. But it is cosmologically answering a question, a living question, and we're constantly having these questions and answering them. So every vibrational frequency, and in essence, every thought form, every idea has to play out. And so as a soul design, we have the design of our totality of our lives, lifetimes, other dimensional experiences, other planetary experiences that play out through resonance on this earth plane. So we're here to play things out on this earth plane. And it's going to greatly help you. I know it did me when I first learned of this many, many years ago when I received this information. It was actually in the late 80s, right around the harmonic convergence, that this isn't about a school. This isn't learning lessons. You're not sent here because you have to learn. You're not sent here because you did something wrong or the earth is a lower vibration. It's a denser vibration because it's the place of denser form. But once you kind of start getting, hey, I'm here to experience and express me as a soul, God as me, the all that is, the infinite, innate, creative intelligence, however you want to put it. And that's why it's so profound, that mantra, so hum, so, one of my most favorite Sanskrit mantras. It's a great mantra if you have any fear or anxiety going on. So hum, I am that I am. That sums up everything metaphysically. It's very simple, but when you can crack that code and really connect into that, you will understand why you're here. And it's not because you're less than. It's not because you've been sent back to Earth to learn or a lifetime you didn't get it. Those are all concepts to keep you enslaved, to keep all of us enslaved and not being in our full reina, okay? King and queendom, right? La reina, the queen. Our royal roots. We have royal roots. So, especially if you're identifying as a starseed or a light worker, you have royal roots. You have ancient, beyond time information and insights and gifts to come here and play and share together. Now, yes, because we work in polarity here through this type of denser frequency creation, and so there's a good and there's a bad, we play out different scenarios and avenues, different aspects or parts of the polarity plane and all the shades in between. That's earth plane. Believe me, I remember at 8 years old when I was told through visions who I was and what I was about. Actually, from 4 and 5, I had sessions with my guides and my Starseed teachers and family. And then between 8 and 11, I also got a lot of information. None of it was about you. Maybe I didn't. I realized too at that age, oh God, I don't know if I want to go. And it's funny. Yesterday I was working with a client of mine, and she recalled we did regression therapy. We did interplane work. So multiple timelines and lifetimes, and we went to this planetary experience. And when she was coming out of it and sharing with me, she said, oh my God, I saw where I came from and coming into the soul and the family. And she goes, I remember saying, no, I'll go, I'll do it, or it's okay. And she said, I kind of didn't want to, but I was told I didn't have to. And I said, oh my God. I laughed and I said, that's the Starseed phrase. That's the Starseed phrase. I said, that was the phrase I heard when I was, extended, expanded, uplifted, whatever, to my Starseed family and mentor. I remember literally looking, and she told me I was looking down, and I said, yeah, I was looking down, and I remembered as a kid, that phrase stuck with me. No, I'll do it. And then I had this look, this kind of puzzled, what am I doing here? I should say something or do something look, which again, Starseed look. But I had said the same phrase, and I had the same look, and she was describing the look. And a few years ago, I don't know, maybe longer, like 10 or 15 years ago, maybe even late 90s, it's a long time ago, I just remember, for some reason, catching up on that phrase in my mind, and I was going through pictures, old pictures of me, and I went, oh my God, there's the same look that I had in group, a lot of group photos, whether they were with friends, high school, and I did very well at high school. I had tons of friends. I wove in different types of groups, wasn't bullied. I got along with everybody. Everybody got along with me. And, I was pretty popular. I loved people, and I loved different experiences. So, but, however, even saying that and fitting in and not having any, one issue with someone that kind of tried to, I guess, thought I was a leader, what I didn't even realize a leader, and tried to challenge me. Anyway, it was a whole little drama thing for a minute. But otherwise, I had artistic friends, spiritual friends, yoga, meditation. We met at cafes. Wrote poetry, went to the beach, was around surfers, hiked and just camped and just traveled, just had a great time. But pictures, I had that look. Even in my high school group picture, I had that far away, what the hell am I doing here look. What's going on? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to respond? So, if you happen to have that look and you've been saying that phrase, big hug to you and welcome. And it doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. And I think that's why, the guests we had on, I can't think of now who said this, which was so perfect, last week, that you just have to accept yourself. It was so perfect. You just have to accept yourself. And I'm like, okay, that's it. You just have to accept that you're different. And I think that, even when you fit in a lot, there's an awareness that you're different. Yeah? That you're seeing things differently. That you understand things differently. You're seeing beyond. Yeah, it was Dr. Macklin last week. If you didn't catch that episode, amazing information. And we talked about being a starseed, and he said you just got to realize you're different and celebrate your difference, your uniqueness. Because no matter how you try to fit in, it's different than people that are newly awakening. Not trying to shade anybody, but the thing is, it's much different when you've lived your whole life this way than when you just awaken. Because you do have those foundational roots of having fit in for a long time or seen life in a different way, right? I remember even when I was modeling and my agents would say, don't tell them you're psychic, don't tell them that, don't. I did. Many of you have heard my stories about this, and it was great because everybody had stories or wanted to talk about it, and many people had intuition or psychic stories. But what I noticed when I look back, everyone was jogging to the left and I was going to the right. I wasn't hobnobbing or doing certain things to get ahead or get further ahead. And my agent would be like, the photographer liked you, or the client, why didn't you talk to them? Or if we were on trips, why didn't you spend more time with them? They really liked you. And the other models would get booked for something else because they would schmooze or they would party. And I did a little bit of that. But then I would want to go back to my room and either do my cards or metaphysics I was studying, or there was people on the set that were not in those key positions, those influential positions, but they were seekers. They were reading books or studying online or whatever, depending on what decade we're talking about. Some of it was, during the online stuff and internet. And so we'd have these great conversations. And I would try to tell myself on the job or on the movie set or TV set or photo shoot set, I would be like, okay, try. And I would try and I'd talk and I'd connect and I'd have a great time. But the mundane talk bored me, or the talk about who's doing what or who's seeing who, sleeping with who got this magazine cover, who did this, who did that, whose style, what designer. There's only so much I could take of that. And, it was interesting to me. It's creative, people that are designers or whatever. It's all creative energy. But then I had to replenish. And also as an introvert, I had to replenish and reconnect. As an empath, reconnect. And so what enlivened me was the spiritual talk, was the talk about psychic abilities or psychic experiences or astrology or metaphysics or the occult or healing energy, whatever. So I would say for all of you, I'm sharing this a little bit with you because you may find yourself more and more in positions where that's what you want more of. And if that's true, I would say try to find a way to integrate more of that in your life. Not just through reading and studying, but live people, interaction. That's why I have my Soul Path Journey or Patreon group. We meet monthly. I do a lot of content, sometimes so much content people are like, oh, my God, I can't keep up with it. But I want to get it out there so that people can go back to it when they want to and when they need to. But we have live chat time, talk time, healing time, psychic tune-in time. So it's really important to have also the live or in real-time connections. So if you are awakening or you're awakening to a next level or your abilities are coming through more or you're having what we call bleed through, which means you're getting memories from other dimensions, other lifetimes, other planetary circumstances, different aspects of your being are coming through, whether future self or past self through deja vu. I mean, deja vu happens, all ways. Sometimes it even happens in the present where you get something you tap into something else that's simultaneously happening, and then later you find out at the exact time whatever you were going through, someone else or a lot of other people were going through, or someone that's close to you was going through, right? So make sure you're getting the live connection, and make sure you're sharing your insights and understanding and what you're going through. All right, let's get to callers, 347-539-5122, and press 1 on the keypad. Oh, my God, there it is, Sue in the chat, yay, also had experience with Ashtar. Oh, you got to call in and tell me your Ashtar command. All right, Sunray. Oh, my God. Hello, Sunray in the chat. I just finished last week's episode and wanted to ask about expanding on that look about being Starseed, and here you are. Oh, my God. Sunray, we're always so connected. Yeah, right? The look. The look. Oh, my God. It's like, and I kind of noticed it, but it filed in my mind, that phrase and that look. And then I went back, and I'm like, even now, when I'm with certain, and it might be certain situations where there's obviously everything we go through, there's some resonance or vibrational, frequency, connection, similarity, but some have less. So I can even see that look now, and now I kind of look at it, and I kind of just hug myself etherically. I give myself a night. Sometimes I hug myself physically because, it releases that oxytocin, the bonding, love hormone, not just if someone else hugs you, but if you hug yourself. But conferences, places, especially when I was doing a lot of TV and media, I don't know, around 2005 to 2015, and podcast talk shows. I was doing a lot of television pilots. I had that look, and the other people, the other astrologer, they didn't have that look, and they were, you can tell because they're very savvy with the advertising, marketing, social media, the multi-level. They're snapping. And sometimes if you're a starseed, you feel like you're like a delay or two. You're a beat or two behind, unless you're talking about spiritual stuff, metaphysics, esoteric stuff. Then it's like you can just wrap it out. You're channeling, and here comes all the data, all the info, all the insights comes out. But if you're around, you have to shift gears. Like earth stuff, mundane. Okay, this is important. Okay, this is about this. And you have to kind of shift these internal gears. So I'm going to share more of this on Patreon and other ways because I've always shared about this, but not as broadly public. And I think having awakened or incarnated this way, even my parents telling me, I was like reciting information everybody was listening to at age 4, and my recollections, I can probably remember. I definitely remember when I was in the preemie, when I was in the hospital. I have memories of that, and coming home, and I have a lot of early memories 4 on up from spirits, working with the spirit realm, visitations. At 11, I had the, Virgin Mary, Mother Mary came to me. It was a very turbulent time in my life and my family. And other people, why I'm sharing this also, because a lot of you as light workers and our Starseeds or Starseed light workers have had these experiences. And the key times are age 4, 8 to 11, and especially 11, especially for little girls, but boy, girl, whatever, but at 11, these are key visitation points, even from the galactic connection or federation, however you want to put it. Your what do you want to say? Starseed family or council, mentors, spiritual teachers, spiritual mentors on the other realm, your guide, your guardian angel. And then, sometimes throughout the high school years, definitely they're still around middle school. They're always there, but especially that early developmental time. And then again in mid-20s. And then on, you can make it as need be or more consistent if you're consciously working. So any of you that are, again, awakening to your next level, you may want to revisit these time periods and ask and notice what was going on. What was the information that you were receiving? Sunray, thank you. Yeah, Christopher Macklin. That was the guest last week. Let's see, anything else? Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. Okay, gang, any questions or comments? The number's 347-539-5122, and you have to press 1 on the keypad. Otherwise, I'll just keep chatting. But I'd love to hear if you have stories. 347-539-5122. Hi, everyone in the chat. It's good to see everyone. Yeah, I feel like this information, gosh, I just want to say is so needed right now. And also we're having to kind of disrupt kind of some old paradigm thinking that has come from the more limiting, controlling part of any of the Judeo-Christian doctrine, studies, myths, mythology, even the surface meanings of tarot. And those of you that have done my tarot course, you know, which I'm maybe relaunching this fall, winter, we'll see, along with doing some sacred ritual. Because the languaging is a way, it's not like astrology, it's not like that's what's doing things, or numerology, or the, you know, it's like, it's an interpretation or language. You've heard me say this. And so we have to start changing our languaging a bit. And the guides around 2011, those of you that have been with me this long, we talked about that. The guides said, they even called me out, and they said, you really need to start saying, instead of good and bad, what's most life-enhancing or life-confirming. You know, and that we would have a lot of words to say one concept or idea, because especially our Germanic, you know, the Latin-based languages are much more descriptive and colorful. They have more words or sentences to describe something. The Germanic, which the Anglo-Saxon, is very terse. It's you know, kind of more to the point. It's less flowery. So we're going to have to look at where is our languaging limiting us, because our languaging, and I'm saying languaging because it's not just language, it's how we use the language, can limit us. Because our languaging sets up our perception, how we're viewing the world. So when people are saying this is an earth school, you're here to learn, what does that bring up for you? That's learning can be fun, yes, but it also brings up all those years we were in school. And it also means that you don't know something, right? And yes, we're always learning, and there are certain things you don't know, and there are certain things that you just learn to remember, that you're in the remembering phase. But it's much lighter and more fun and more creative to say, you're here as a divine expression of the all that is, or of God. You're the living question and answer. What's your question? Or what are your questions, and how are you answering it? Or you're here just to express you as a soul and have soul expression and soul experience. Do you see how much more playful and creative that is? You are, I am that I am, the all that is, God, the infinite creative intelligence of the universe. The universe, you're a design of that, a slice of that, experiencing and expressing that slice through different experiences and expressions. And with that comes a lot of experience. And one small experience is learning lessons. So this is a huge paradigm shift, because it connects you into your innate creator abilities. When we're learning, like when we're apprenticing, it's like, oh, I don't know how to do it yet. I don't know how to do this. But the fact is you're learning, but you do know how to do this. All right, 347-539-5122. Press 1 on the keypad. Hi, you're on air.
Hi, Michele. This is Vanessa.
Who is this?
Vanessa.
Lynette? Vanessa?
Vanessa. Yeah. How are you?
Linus. Hi, Vanessa. Vanessa. Pretty name.
Vanessa, yeah. L-Y-N.
With an L.
Vanessa.
Yeah. Vanessa.
Yep.
Hi, Vanessa. Got it.
Hi. I'm enjoying, we just tuned in. My sister and I just tuned in, and I'm enjoying what you're saying here.
Very
and I
cool.
thought
Hi, Vanessa,
ask
sister.
a question.
Yes,
hi.
Absolutely.
Melina is my sister, my twin sister, and she's talked to you before.
Melina. Hi, Melina. I know that name. And
hi, Michele.
Hello. Hi. Good to connect.
Yes, for sure.
Oh, I love it.
I just have the probably famous question of, do you see a partner coming into my life anytime soon?
Oh, I love that. That is such a great question, especially for now as we're coming more into that connecting with others, like I talked about in the beginning. Yeah, so let's see. All right, Vanessa. Ooh, now I see a lot picking up. Okay, right now there's a little kind of restriction. But after that, I'm going to say after December, meeting someone, I feel like there's travel, maybe even a trip. Maybe it's even with Melina, or maybe you live someplace. I'm seeing like a tropical area or beachy area resort. There's some shift that you're taking around Sagittarius time, so end of November, beginning of December, or mid-December. I don't know if it's your birthday or something's around at that time, but there's some kind of shift. It goes over into January, February, and you decide to do more, to live more fulfilled, or open up. I see different people around you. I see different groups. I see traveling. Now, mind you, it could be by car, it could be by plane. I don't know. You meet somebody in that mix. So right now there's kind of, do you feel like things are a little inward right now for you? I feel like there's, maybe you're not.
I feel like I'm pretty social. So I feel like I've been kind of out there in the world some, although I kind of been, at home. I mean, at home a lot, at least in the town that I live in, but out and about a little bit, but not like doing traveling or anything. Yeah, it's different groups. It's not that the people that you're around right now are not great. I feel like there's some new people coming in, or some of these groups are going to have some, I don't know, some different outings or something. It seems more spring, summer. Okay. Okay, what's coming up for next year? Yeah, it looks like spring. It looks like April. Okay. I'm getting a lot of outdoor activity. I'm getting like, I don't know if it's tennis, pickleball, badminton, something like that. That's grass. There's a what do you call it? There's a net. Are you near the beach or water? Not really, no, not right now. Where? So there's a river. I'm near a river. Maybe that. Do people do stuff outdoors there? Yeah, this is where I live, is a real outdoorsy area, and I also work outdoors at at concerts right now. Oh, maybe it's that. Do they have food there? Yeah. Okay, it could be somebody through there. It could be at your work. Okay. There's a lot of people around at my work. Yeah, it could be that. It could be that. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely coming up soon. I mean, it's not years. Right? Okay. Let's see if there's anything else that comes through. Yeah, what does she need to focus on? Let's ask, what do you need to focus on to draw this person in? Being outdoors with groups where there's fun. It's hard to say because you work with people, but it's also could be you're out with friends, particularly girlfriends, or there could be a group around, or it could be in that venue, especially if there's food, because I see food around. So I don't know if it's concession stand or picnic style, but this person's very outgoing. They've got a quiet side, but they may even be with a group also. But it's with the groups. It's happening within a group situation for you. Okay.
Yeah. And I think there's going to be a little, like, as my old metaphysical teacher Rach used to say, eye play. She was a lot older, and she's like, yeah, there's going to be a little eye play. You're looking back and forth at each other. So I don't know. I think you meet, you talk, maybe you hang out, and then I feel the person comes back. They come back around and like, you know, do you want to get your number or hang out, or you end up doing something later. All I know is there's groups. Rather, you know, unless I just tuned in further, like in a private individual session, that's what I'm getting, just kind of off the cuff here.
Okay.
Cool. Well, thanks for calling
in.
I hope you keep listening. Yeah, and it's great to connect with you.
Yeah, it was great
Melina,
to connect with you too.
I appreciate it.
Yes. If you have time, I have a quick little question, but
okay,
if you don't have time, no worries.
Yeah.
Do you? Okay, yeah, this is Melina.
Yeah. Hi, Melina.
And I have asked you about love before. Here, my identical twin sister and I are asking about love. So I have been kind of seeing this guy on and off for about a year now, just on and off, just very casual, hang out every once in a while, and then sometimes we'll go a long time without seeing each other. Lately it's been a little bit more but it's always around like social kind of partying sort of thing. It hasn't gotten real serious. However, I really like him, but I don't know. I don't know if he's like I don't know if he's capable of going into like a more deeper type of relationship with me, or if he's holding me back from experiencing that with somebody else. I'm kind of in this limbo with him. Like, should I cut it off completely? Should I just be casual? Because I do want something more deep and fulfilling and more partner-like. Do you see anything around that? His name is Tim.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, so Melina, give me a name or initial, please.
His name is Tim. TL is his initials.
Okay. All right, Tim. Oh, no, he's not going to change. Mm-mm.
Oh.
No,
that's what everybody's telling me.
No. Well, they're a very good side. No. What is with him? He is like, okay, here's the deal psychically, and I love doing this in readings, remote viewing, which I have done. By the way, I did one time. I'm here in California. A client in Chicago thought his wife was cheating. I was able to remote view and see her coming out of the gym. And I was describing it, and I said, I described how she looked, and he goes, oh, that's because she works out. That's her workout stuff. And I go, but there's a guy next to her. I saw them driving to a place, a building, brick on the side. I described the billboard, everything on it. And by what yes, and guess what happened?
Oh, my gosh.
There, and I go, they're there now, right now.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I cannot say the name due to confidentiality, but let me tell you what happened. Sure. He drove there. He went in. She rented an apartment for 18 months. She had rented their apartment.
No way.
Is in the
That is crazy.
I felt bad. I thought, God, this is kind of sneaky. But I'm like, what? This is what the person needs and wants. This is what's coming through. Wow. And she was like, how did you find us? How did you find? And then he screenshot the building to me. And sure enough, the billboard, I said, I don't know, it's a brick building. And there's this, it's either the billboard's on the building or right in front. And it was like some kind of restaurant, had some kind of cartoony holding, anyway. Yeah, you can see the whole thing.
Gosh.
They're
wow,
walking
that's amazing,
around,
Michele.
And you know what he goes, he said, well, why she wouldn't be with the trainer, the personal trainer. And I'm like, I don't know what he does, but he's coming out of the gym with her, and they both have gym bags, and they're both getting in the car. He's following her. And they were on the lease. They'd had it 18 months. Their little love palace.
So yucky.
In her and his name. Yeah.
crazy.
Your friends are psychic. So okay, this guy, what the problem is, Melina. Oh.
Yes, tell me.
He's one of those, in his mind, it's a game. You're not going to get me to commit. You're not going to lock me in because you want it. I don't want to give it to you. Have you ever connected to him in that way? Have you ever gotten that vibe with him?
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. He keeps everything very much on the surface, and I can see that. Yeah, it's almost like a little boy or something, like a younger person.
Yeah, because if you want me to do this, I'm not going to do it, or I'm not going to do it now.
Right.
He will eventually marry a few years from now, but what I feel is going to happen is it's going to be a back and forth, and when the woman finally just gives in, and just he will be like I'm the prize, I'm the booby prize, I'm the prize possession, booby prize, but I'm the prize possession that decides to marry you. But I would say marrying him. He is not going to be emotionally available. He can be fun for the short term or for stuff that's surface. So if you want to keep it like that, but I don't know. When I tune into him about love, commitment, cherishing someone, it's like a steel door that goes down.
Yes, okay. I can sense that too.
Yeah.
You're definitely picking up on it.
Yeah, It's like I'm not going. It's like a combination of I can't go there, I don't want to go there. Some of it is a bit subconscious, but there is a part that is very conscious, that he's doing it on purpose, because he's playing something out in his head, as we know, mother issues, mommy issues. And I just had a client the other day that we talked about this, and I was kind of in my counseling practice, and I was trying to coach her with. The thing is with guys, and and I feel for parents, because there's no perfect parenting, because there's no perfect parents. I get it, but we have these patterns that are societal, not just individual or familial or ancestral and societal. There's a weird thing that happens when the mother can't let the guy rebel, the young boy, and then into teenage years, adolescence, teenage years, early 20s. If they do, they come back and they're healthy. Because what happens is, and this is what I see playing out in his head, it's like he's fighting something that he really wants just because he doesn't want it to be from someone else, and someone else is telling him what to do or controlling him. So it could be the overdoting mother. It could be the mother that you have to, it's all about her or her needs and wants. They're not as emotionally fit or healthy or developmentally, or, it can be the doting mother, the mother that's there too much, or the mother that, I need you to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, you have to do that. And if the young boy isn't empowered enough, which is, oddly enough, it's the parents that have to do that, and especially with male gender, it's the mother that has to empower the boy to go off, go alone, do your thing, have your dating, whatever that is, have your boyfriend, have your girlfriend, have your friend, whatever. Because then what happens, late teens or early to mid-20s, the guy can then come back as a young man and reestablish the intimacy. Otherwise, what happens is the mother psychologically in the subconscious mind and in the inner psyche is taking too much emotional space. And that emotional space needs to be for a relationship, whether with a man or a guy, it doesn't matter. A guy or a girl, it doesn't matter. The person reads as, I'm overwhelmed, warning, warning, you're not going to tell me what to do, even though it's an honest request, a healthy request, or just a bare bones that you should get in relationship. They're still fighting that emotional incest, that emotional merging, that they can't get. Oh yeah, it's powerful. But I've seen it in my practice. Guys that I've worked with, and whether I work with the guy part or whatever,
or the counterpart, especially it's a lot with male. I guess it happens with all, but or if I work with their partner, if they're already married or they're in a live-in situation, they're like, oh my God, this hasn't gotten any better. I will coach the person of how to distance, what to do emotionally. But it's very interesting because usually the parent. Is it? Yeah. So he's playing that
especially because
out.
I have 2 boys.
Oh, that's why I'm going on and on.
2 young boys.
Yeah, it's
They're
hard.
11
I
and
know
13,
because
so that's good to know for me as well, being a mom.
Oh yeah, and that's the age where it starts, and it's really hard for the little boy that really loves their mom and maybe is a bit enmeshed and they have this really strong connection. But then some weird stuff starts happening. And it's not just, it's hormonal, but it's mental, emotional, where they get a little irritated at the mom. They want to, but they're scared. They want to do more on their own or with their friends, but then they're scared to leave. So when the mother can say, go on, do what you want. I'm still here when you need me, or go ahead, do what you want to do. And then the boy sees, oh, she's still there like a rock, but isn't smothering me. Then he can do his thing. You see it very similar in 2-year-olds. It starts around 2 to 3, 18 months to about 3, when they're trying. That's the first time children start trying to have their own autonomy and establish that autonomy. And it's a beautiful thing when it's allowed, But again, the kid has a fear. Like I'm scared to, relate to other people. I'm scared to have this little girlfriend or boyfriend or these friends or go off on my own. They're afraid of the disconnection and they're afraid of the space. But once they learn, oh, I can have space, but still have connection, still have love. That's the key. So unfortunately, your guy, and I don't see him interested in therapy, or if he does do therapy, I feel he's very closed, unfortunately. He's ping-ponging back in his head, having this fight with the mother. I also feel there's this extra stern father, and so you're getting that. So when you're asking things of him, he's not really responding to you, because on some level he does want, a deeper connection and relationship, but he feels he's interpreting it as control, smothering, and mostly control. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
So your friends were your friends were right.
You're spot on. Like, he does. He gets irritated with his mom. He doesn't talk about it a lot, but I know he does, and he also with his dad. And he's just like you said, like a door, he just doesn't let you in. He just keeps everything
shuts down.
He's ping-ponging. And you're seeing it.
Yeah, we pass on our wounding, our deficiencies, unless we change it. And these are, again, they're not just familial, they're ancestral, they're societal. That's not just the family dynamics. It manifests through family and group dynamics, like in corporations, companies, and groups. But it's a lot of fear-based, parents that aren't emotionally mature, and I think we're always learning and growing. Like, we can ask questions, we can, and I know it's hard, because I can only imagine. I'm thinking this client I worked with, and she's very close to her son. I've even worked with her son, and she was like, oh my God, this is good to know, because we were so close. And I'm like, you still are inside. And that's got to be hard when you're really close to your children or a child or a specific child, a particular child, and then they start doing weird things and irritation and annoyance. See, if his parents would have allowed him to be irritated and annoyed, because what causes the irritation and annoyance is they're testing boundaries, and they're afraid. They're afraid of failing. They're afraid that if I do what I want to do, or I branch out, I'm not going to have the love, the safety, or the connection, or the appreciation, or the validation, or I'm going to extend out to other friends or other experiences, and they're going to let me down. And it's fear. It's not even conscious. A lot of it's so subconscious. It's so primal and hormonal. So they're afraid, but what they need is, like, like if the parent, because I do see the father controlling too. The mother is a kind of control manipulator, smothery energy, but the father too, I feel, instead of working things out with the mother, controlled Tim. You better do this, or your mom wants that, or you better do this.
Yeah, I think so.
So he's like,
and he wasn't very emotionally available either.
The father, no. So the thing is, he's got that door, and so now he's like, no one's going to tell me what to do. No one, I'm not going to worry about someone, And a lot of it, I feel, for him is also just it's subconscious. It's like he just feels too much is coming in. Now, he could rework this and learn this, in therapy for a good few years. I just don't feel he's open to that. I feel like he's so hypersensitive, especially right now. I don't know what's going on. He's so hypersensitive that I feel even if somebody was suggesting that, he would shut down because that's, again, control. So if you can keep it surface and you know what you want, just don't overgive or overdo in this relationship or this situation. Now, mind you, me saying that, if you do that, he probably will come towards you. I just don't see that he could sustain the type of committed relationship that you want, at least right now as he is.
No, it's too hard for me to surface, because it reminds me that I want more than that, and I want to attract a different type of relationship, and I have fear that he holds me back from that.
Well, yeah, because you're waiting. So that puts you in the therapist mother role, which is the same. It's the micromanaging. Yeah, it's we've got to come to wholeness for all of us. It's it's kind of a lifelong journey that we. There was a good book. I think it was called Path of Wholeness, the Baba Yaga. I don't know. The book is by Marion Woodman. I think, and Robert Bly. I think. I don't know. Let me see if I can find it. I had it for years and I finally gave it away, but I studied Jungian psychology, and so let's see. Oh, I think it's The Maiden King, The Reunion of Masculine and Feminine. Interpret the deep psychological insights embedded in ancient stories. And it really plays out once you get this. I mean, it's so powerful because women, and I know people always say, not always, but a lot of times people say, we're always blaming the woman or we're always blaming the mother, and that the father causes issues too. Yes, that's very true. However, in child development, whoever has that mothering role, it's such an archetypal energy of the mother as nurturer, because even though we can look and go, men nurture, or there's a stay-at-home dad, that's not what it's in our energetic and cellular DNA. That's not what's in the archetypal imagery. You can see it in the tarot. So whether people like it or not, for thousands of years, most men were the hunters and going outside the community, outside the home and coming back. The women worked with language and nurturing. And so that's what's embedded in our subconscious. And also coming through the mother's womb, there's this, this connection. So whether we're talking, I would say, whether we're talking about an actual mother physiologically, or we're talking about the mothering principle that would be in a man, that mothering principle individually within us and as a collective is very powerful because it gives birth and nurtures. The psychological aspect of it. So women have so much power and empowerment. I mean, for hundreds of years, the woman was the one that took care of the emotions, and that's not necessarily right, but that's how we've been formatted. Ask your mother or talk to your mother about this, or the woman is the one that wants to open the guy up. Let's talk. What do you want to do? And there's some guys, believe me, I've dated them. There's some guys that are very conscious that they're the ones that are saying, how do you feel and what do you want to do? But it's not a lot of them. It's not a lot. If we look at the statistics, it's not a lot of them. So Yeah, thank you
hopefully
for this.
There's getting to be more. Thank you so much. Gosh,
well, I think there is. I think there is.
Good.
As we raise each other differently, we raise each other up and we learn. Yeah. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Melina. Great to connect in.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Have a good
Big
day.
Hug. You too.
Big hug.
Okay, gang, I just got the text that our guest thought she was calling in at 12, I think. And, of course, I've been chit-chatting, talking, doing what I normally do, and answering calls. Let's see. Yeah, she thought her call time was 12, even though it was stated in the confirmation email. Well, so we're going to reschedule her. So, peeps, call in, share, talk, ask questions. Let's do this. 347-539-5122. Let me hear your voice. Press 1 on the keypad. Hi, you're on air.
Oh, this is Melina again.
Oh, okay. Hey, Melina.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Bye. 347-539-5122 is the number. Press 1 on the keypad. Hi, you're on air.
Hi, this is Donna. How are you?
Hey, Donna. I'm doing great. Welcome to this podcast, Community, Connection, and Awakening.
Okay, I just have a psychic question. Yeah. I'm going through a hard time. My brother has cancer. It's in the spleen, the kidney, the bones. That's sad. And then my sister has cancer from the breast that spread. And so it's having a hard time. But I wanted to know if my finances were going to get better because I would like to treat them to something, maybe Palm Springs at the Mineral Springs or something.
Okay.
You know, I want to do something for them.
Wow. Okay. It seems like in November things are picking up, or you've been able to put some money aside, is what I'm seeing. I do see more finances better. Is there a possibility you have a raise or a bonus coming in, an extra, or maybe a crowd fund for this gift that you want to do with them?
I don't know how to do
donations
that.
GoFundMe, Indiegogo. There's other ones, but you can look on that. But for some reason, I'm getting November, so I don't know if you're taking a. Are you taking a job? What is it?
I'm taking a trip to Cabo San Lucas with a girlfriend for 4 days. My brother's treating me to ocean.
Is that in November?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, so it shows stuff. Okay, so maybe that's showing stuff that picks up. But are you getting? What are you doing right now? Because I get a fluctuation in your work, so I don't know if you're going to take on something new, something additional.
I don't
maybe
work.
When you get back.
I'm 69. I don't work. I go to the casino once in a while and make money, and
maybe you make
play
money.
the lottery a little bit.
69. You're young. You can work till you find something you enjoy doing. Well, maybe you win something. I don't know, but it definitely shows things picking up in November. And maybe if you want to do this, I feel you're going to have to take on something external that you can put some additional money aside. So be that as it may, you can kind of figure that out. But November looks good. There's definitely increase. You're more peppy. I think the trip's going to be good for you. I think it's going to be very nurturing.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Enjoy your time, and I'm just so sorry. If you give me their first names, I'll put them in my healing light circle.
Oh, I would love that.
Give me their
Desiree.
Yeah.
Desiree and David.
All right, I'll put them in the healing circle.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll do some healing for them tonight. Actually, it will be good with the full moon. Send them some Reiki.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, Donna. Big hug. You're so welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 347-539-5122 is the number. Press 1 on the keypad. Hi, you're on air.
Hi there.
Hi. What's your first name?
I'm Jamie from San Luis Obispo.
Hi, Jamie. Ooh, I love that area. Hello.
Oh, me too. The sun is shining today, and
I was going to say, do you guys have a breeze up there? What's the weather like?
Well, today's supposed to be pretty nice. We're actually going to go out to the beach this evening for a bonfire, and you just reminded me it's the full moon. It's like, ooh, perfect. It's not supposed to be very windy today, but we do get a lot of wind during the summertime over here.
You do? Oh, full moon bonfire. Ooh, that sounds so good.
I know. So I'm here to pull in some vibes and some feedback for you that I can bring into ceremony tonight. I have been on a journey with some extreme migraines that I have been inflicting me. And over the last several months, there's been a lot of removals and shamanic work that I've done. I feel like there's been a lot of layers in which that pattern has still been coming through. Right. I still think there's more work there to be done, but specifically I'm noticing there is a big shift that my husband and I are going through in finding how we relate. And we're stepping, literally, I feel like we're stepping through the fire right now. And I'm noticing with these big, deep conversations we're having, which are contracting and expanding, but it's all leading to expansion, that's when these migraines will peek through. So last night we had a big art hoping expansion, and then the feelings just were coming through last night and also today. Do you have any insight for me or tools in which I can walk through this?
Yeah, it's like 8th house. It's deep dive. There's deep transformation. There's deep power struggles. There's how do we approach this, getting on the same page. I am hearing that you're feeling destabilized. So what will help you, especially before conversations, is breath work. Even on my, because there's a lot going on with the will. Okay, I see it now, Jamie. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Okay, there's two things, because it's also something you're eating or atmospheric. There is something physical, physiological, and I'll kind of look at that a little bit more. However, you're trying to will some things to happen because you see a certain vision and you feel it, and your mind is very strong. You're very connected. You're emotional too. You're very connected emotionally, but you're also very connected on the mental realm and usually able to convince people of things or make things happen. It's so interesting. We were talking about the men's individuation. Your husband is having a bit of an individuation right now. He's separating out from you, and it doesn't need to be a separation, but he's finding his own way and his own opinion or idea of what he should do or what you both should do or what the vision of your life is. If you go to my website, soulplayground.life, and you go to the mindfulness and meditation, there's a few meditations that you can do free. You can just download them for free. Also on my website, Soul Insights and Tarot, there's an attunement meditation that will help you. It's an ascension attunement meditation. It helps you unblock the left and right brain hemisphere and the cellular and energetic aspect of the left and right brain hemisphere and the kind of conditioning, gets you out of the extremes of polarity. So, because for you, meditation, breath work on a daily basis, it doesn't have to be long, 5-10 minutes, whatever. Really releasing the breath, because what's happening is you're getting congealed energy, like congealed etheric energy from the etheric plane, but also the realm of thought forms. It's like you have this ideas, you have this inspiration, you have this energy coming in through the crown, and it's stagnating there. And yes, because you're trying to get your point across, your mission, you're trying to will it to happen. But this isn't a will situation. So if you align your individual will to cosmic will or divine will, that's great. That's a beautiful process for you. You can't will what's supposed to happen with the two of you or with him. It's going to be a little ambiguous for a while, a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of whatever for a while, till he finds his rudder without kind of the power struggle. And it doesn't surprise me because, with the North Node going in Aries, South Node in Libra, it's a lot right now. People are becoming more will-centered, like, I want this, I see this, let's go for it. Mars energy and individuate, let me do it, let me go out there. But yet we're finding out, how do I do this in relationship to my partner, to my significant other, to my spouse? How do I do this in relationship to children that I'm trying to consciously raise, in the work situation, my colleagues. So we're learning, we're instituting a new way of relating is what's happening. It's a very profound time in our culture and world and universe. So you're going to have to pull back a little bit and I can even feel it. It comes up through, oh my God, the shoulders and neck. Woo. You've got to handle the physical and physiological. Cranial sacral work would be amazing for you, or just the occipital point. But you've got to do it on it like 3 or 4 to 8 times a week. You've got to do it, or if you feel something coming up earlier, because you can't address it right before or during. Then it's already there. And I feel you're learning to manage your energy and relate to your energy in a whole new way. Like, this is what I need. This is how because we all have our areas. Mine is mine's my tummy, and also my tonsils. So I'll know if I'm putting out a lot, or I'm feeling misunderstood, or if a recurring pattern that I had in childhood is coming up, and I'm feeling vulnerable. I'll go, I need to take this herb. I'm going to take this herb, and I'm going to, and I put a concoction together with my Zevia ginger ale. I go, I got to nurture a little bit. I'll do some foods. I'll do, and so I know my areas. You've got to learn your areas, because this area for you, one of my mentors used to say, Dr. Hahn, he used to say, when I was studying, went to hypnotherapy school and counseling school, transpersonal psychology, he said, all our issues or faults is a great quality or good quality, a good skill. It's just taken too far. And that's where the problem is. So somebody that has a strong will and can make things happen, or has a strong vision and can usually influence someone for the greater good, that's a great skill set, except when that person is now in their new level of individuating and they don't know quite what they're doing. And you're trying to lead him and guide him. That makes sense?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, yes, it makes so much sense.
Yeah. So the thing is, you have a great skill set, and you'll use it again with yourself, with him, with the relation, other people. But right now, your skill set is kind of letting him kind of find his way while you do the work on yourself, the Aries. You might want to look up North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra, and see, if you know your chart, what's transiting, what house do you have Aries or on the cusp, and go, okay, because that's a good rudder. That's a collective. The nodal positioning is in between the sun and the nodes. It's not a planet, but it's an area of influence. Let's say it's a region. So it kind of shows what we're learning and what we're going through, or not even learning. It's just a new approach. But I definitely feel it can unwind. It's just how do you deal. And it's so funny because I still do work with couples, but mostly I did in the 90s to about mid-2000s. I did a lot of couples counseling and studied this couples journey, and we'd, this whole process of, managing change, and transitional counseling it's called, and how you apply it to couples. And here's my big takeaway. The cosmic joke, or God's joke, is couples don't grow, change, or transform at the same time and exactly in the same way. You get together, right? Yeah, and all of a sudden, what's happening? Everything's status quo, and then, oh my God, what is this change? What are you talking about? What are you saying? And I just go, God, why did you do it this way? Why couldn't they do that at the same time? It's just bizarre. I know. Isn't it funny? I mean, I would, it's like as soon as you have, and it's just the proverbial, as soon as you have the ducks in the row, they move.
Mhm.
And so how do we navigate that? It's not easy, but once you get on the other side, and the other thing is I once did a poll with clients of mine and friends, colleagues, different people I was meeting, and some people that I knew already that had been married 20, some of them were 15 years, most of them were 20, 25 years, 30 years, and longer, that I thought by counseling them or being friends or colleagues that they had good relationships. And God knows, some of them later opened up what they had gone through. Every single one of them, because I'm like, what does it take? What do you do? And the common thing, other than like-minded, being able to communicate, work through stuff, but even the ones that to me had these very idyllic relationships, every single one of them said, oh my God, I never thought we'd get through this, or never thought we'd make it. I'm like, what, you? Oh yeah, we got you. I go, how'd you get through? They're like, I don't know. Sometimes I'd wake up and go, this is it. It's done. It's over. And they said, yeah, we went through a bad patch. Everyone said, oh, we went through a bad patch or 2 or 3 bad patches. We didn't think we would get through it, or I never thought we'd get through it. And I would look and I'd go, oh my God, you went through, oh yeah, Michelle, oh yeah. We didn't think we'd get through it. I thought for sure I'd be divorced by now. And I was like, wow. So,
and that's how we've
what I would
been,
share with
I'm okay, and I see the vision, which is why what you're saying. I see the vision, so I'm holding space for it through him trying to find his way, which he should.
No, don't hold space. Space is there. Okay, that's where we make. That's an old concept. I used to think that we don't hold space. We allow the space that's already there, the void. Because when you're holding space, what is that? That's mental, emotional.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm doing.
You're not.
That is a good takeaway.
That'll get rid of your headaches. Because we don't hold space physically, right? We hold space mentally, emotionally, psychically, which means on the soul level. That means we're micromanaging energetically, and what our headache is congealed energy. Just like inflammation is congealed energy. So we want to get that flowing. So what you can do is just even envision what he's doing or saying or what you're doing. Take a breath, see that picture, and then just feel the energy flow. Just let the energy flow. Take a deep breath in, and as you release into space. See and visualize and feel space. Feel the flow. Yeah. You can't micromanage it. That's your big, that's your great gift, but we have to know when to just not hold. Yeah, to take the psychic, you need to take your energy, your psychic space back. And he'll feel that on the inner plane. I've done this with people I've worked with, and they'll be like, oh my God, she just called or it's texting now. And I'm like, yeah, we just did this process where you allowed space. Because the universe works in polarity. Yeah, when we move towards something, it moves back. When we move forward, or move back, it comes towards. Think of this. When you're talking with someone, let's say you're at a party, you're talking with someone, and they move towards you. What do? Okay. You move back, right?
Okay, yes.
Right? Yeah. So the energy, that's how we operate. So if we're always going towards something and pushing it and micromanaging it, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, they move back. So, yeah, when we allow the space, and we don't want to, and I'm just saying this because that's the whole runner-chaser dynamic that we talk about in, twin flame kind of situations. So you don't want to, it's not to do it out of manipulation, like, oh, they're running, so it's like just being where you are. Yeah. But it's
let go of the whole thing. Allow.
Yes, because like that example I gave you is like when you are talking with someone, let's say in a group situation, a party or whatever, if someone's leaning too much in your psychic space, you pull back. You move back.
Yeah.
Move back, and some people, con artists, know to do this, because you can build rapport. It's called, modeling. When somebody naturally leans back, talking, a lot of people will instinctively move forward, to a degree. You don't want to come all the way too much. So think about physical space is also etheric or psychic space. So when you allow the space, you allow the void that is there. And the void that's what the potential, the possibilities, that's the creation. You got it. You got it.
Michele, my heart is opening. I can't wait to look back and just dive in more. Yeah. Thank you. I'll call back with some updates.
Let us
I'm ready to be free.
Please do.
Whew.
And thank you for sharing. I feel like we all needed to have this conversation. I feel there was a reason the guest didn't call in, that this topic came up. And it's also about us, not just with other people. We need to allow ourselves the space for our own unfolding and not try to cram. And I know I'm guilty of that, because sometimes when we know so much and can do so much, we want to do it and know it and put it out there, make it happen, be ready, da-da-da-da. But then we got to go into the divine feminine of allowing the womb to appear. Think of it as a cosmic womb. It's always there, but the unfolding is in the womb, and we can't micromanage that. It's like having a baby. It's in the womb. Science doesn't know exactly what the hell is going on in there and how that happens. The ovum and the zygote, the sperm. We don't really know. How did that arm get there? How did that head appear? So we don't know how it appears, right? We don't know. So that's kind of what we all need to start moving into, is that cosmic space of the becoming. And just what I do a lot of times is I envision it and I feel it, especially if I've been pushing a lot. And I'll take a breath in, and as I breathe out, I literally feel space. I'll even put my arms out sometimes and feel the space, and then go, okay, something's happening in the space. I don't know what it is. I don't meant to control it. Something's growing, brewing that's best for me. And I just allow it. And then I'm like, and it relaxes me. I'm like, okay, something's happening, but I don't know what it is. But my higher self does, Oh, please call back. Let us know, Jamie. This is so beautiful. And you have such beautiful energy. You're so gifted. You just got to redirect that energy, insight, wisdom, and knowledge.
This is like it really is like a rebirth. So thank you for your magnificent.
You're very, very welcome. Big hug. Big
You
hug.
too. Okay. Aho.
Oh my God, you guys. Beautiful. Love you all. Oh my God. I love this. I guess we needed to have this conversation because it's so powerful right now. Woo. Really, really. It's so powerful because it just shows what we're doing and where we're going and how important this inner work is from a full light place, not a place of judgment. Even though we can judge. I get there too. I'm like, oh God, why didn't I do this sooner? Or why didn't I know this? Or why didn't I? One thing that my little mantra I say is, of course, because how I was raised or what I grew up knowing or how I was conditioned, of course I would think this, or of course I would do this decision. But now I'm changing it. Because you guys were not the same person we were a year ago, 5 years ago, and certainly 20, 30, 10, 15 years ago, or in our childhood. We've been conditioning, not just from our parents and care, and our siblings or caretakers, but from society, from the game itself, the game on Earth. If you look at it, we've had the same relating pattern on this Earth plane since ancient times. If you go back You can read about it in books. You can read it on the internet. You get documentaries, Netflix, Amazon, cable, movies, books, biblical times, written, it's been the same pattern. And I don't care if people talk, patriarchy. I studied women's studies, women's religions, ancient cultures. I studied the matriarchy. When we had the matriarchy, which we had matriarchy before we had patriarchy, the women were not much better than the men, especially because women were able to give birth and bled and didn't die. That's huge power. The men were servants. So we've had this power over being underpowered, the dominator, invader, the victim, abuse. We've had that patterning, whether it's by brute force, which was the patriarchy, by brute force. I'm stronger, I have to protect you, and then how that morphed into control through money, Freemasons. Women were not allowed, but there was a time where the women were allowed, and the men had to do the grunt work. I read it. I studied it. I read it in the textbooks. I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy hell. And the power, again, it's the subservient. It's the power over and underpowered, feeling underpowered and overpowered. It's the bully. And so we have it within us. We do it to ourselves. We've done it to each other. It's the master-slave. We've had slavery since the beginning of time, Egyptian time, all times. If you look, slavery is nothing new. It has nothing to do with, race or one particular race. It's been through all cultures. As soon as we recognize that and open up to that and go, it's a pattern. It's not about you individually. It's not about me. It's not about your skin color. It's not about your hair. It's not about your height. It's not about your religion. It's the pattern, how it manifests through. This is what Pluto in Capricorn is about, and Pluto in Aquarius will be about. It's about this pattern that manifests through systems, cultures, groups, organizations, family systems, society. It's about how this pattern has been systemically encoded, embedded. And as soon as we realize it's about the pattern, it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about the pattern, then we can all lighten up and we can help each other get through the pattern that is not just an individual pattern, it's a group pattern, it's a systemic pattern. And that's when we get into that Pluto in Aquarius, the patterning is coming up more and more and more. So starting next year, we've had glimpses of it with Pluto in Capricorn, but we all haven't seen anything yet because Aquarius is going to, and when Pluto's in Aquarius, it's going to be connecting to the individual aspects of life and how we live within the system, and how is the system, the condition response pattern in systems affecting us. But remember, we're not our patterning. We're not our patterns. And if you see patterns that you have that you're like, oh my God, that's so horrible, that's not conscious, that's this, why did I do, it's so self-sabotage, whatever you want to term it, bring it back and go, I was conditioned for this. I learned this from not just my parents or people around me or my school, but society, from Earth. Now I'm changing the pattern. We're all changing the pattern. We're repatterning. And that's a big part of the soul alignment and the ascension process of getting out of the extremes of the polarity plane is we're changing the pattern. I love you all so much, and I'm just thank you so much for everybody being here, whoever was in the chat, whoever called in, whoever listened by phone, listened by computer, if you're listening in the replays. All I ask, I got some asks. Let's do it. I ask you, please subscribe to Awakenings with Michele Meiche on YouTube, Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube. Leave a 5-star appreciation review or whatever you want to call it on Apple Podcasts or wherever you rate. Spotify, because I haven't put much attention to Spotify. 5 stars, greatly appreciate it. If you want to dance more, connect more, understand more, share more, empower yourself and others more, you can join me on Soul Awakening with Michele Meiche on Patreon. But if you don't do any of that, I still love you, and I'm so glad that you're here. Big hug. Have a beautiful Pisces super blue moon. Have an amazing, inspired, loving rest of the week. See you next week. I will be here, and I hope you will also.
I'm getting woke and staying woke. Awakenings broadcast every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. Archive shows available on iTunes. For continued awakened conversations and insights, join the Awakenings group on Facebook. And check out Michele's blog at soulplayground.com. And keep awake.